Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V. Thanks for watching. So this week, I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about the state of what's going on in the comics at the moment. Many of these super books, Super Family and Superman included, are kind of taking a new direction. They all have new creative teams that are starting. They all have new adventures that are starting, new story arcs, new beginnings to the covers, which are January of the new year. The first thing I wanted to start with, of course, is Superman Unchained, which is probably on many people's list as the most disappointing event book that was announced and then delayed again, and then released, and then delayed again, and then finally released again. 9 total issues, which initially, I believe our understanding was that this was going to be another ongoing Superman title. Meanwhile, we have another 10 or 20 Bat titles being released as I speak, and probably by the time I'm done this little episode, we will have another 8 or 9 Bat-related books out on the market that you can go out and spend your cash on, which is fine if that's what's selling, while at the same time, any new Superman undertaking seems to be canceled pretty quick, and maybe that's because they're not selling. I know comic books in general aren't selling unless it has Batman or X-Men or Avengers on the moniker. It doesn't get sold. Now, Superman Unchained was a Jim Lee, Scott Snyder, big project, 2 big names. They had this great idea. They knew exactly what they were going to do. Their Superman was decisive and strong and much different from apparently what we were seeing in the New 52. He seemed a little more experienced. He seemed to know what he wanted to do. And in a lot of ways, I liked the Unchained Superman because I did think he was more decisive, and I did think he was more confident. I did think he was more like pre-New 52 Superman, which isn't necessarily great. I mean, I, a lot of times, still see Superman in the New 52 Superman. A lot of people have trouble and say that New 52 Superman is not their Superman and is not Superman, and he doesn't care about people, and he's too violent, and he's... I don't know. I see that a number of times, but I also see that happening in Unchained at times too. I don't really understand where they went with the story. You know, 9. I feel like the decision to end at 9 was rushed, and I feel like the story itself then suffered because I don't really feel like it ended, and I don't really feel like anything was really explained. My understanding was that Wraith was a government tool that was created in case Superman got out of control, and then suddenly at the end of 9, we're told that he has people that are invading, and then he shows up, even though he was trapped in the moon, and apparently helpless, to save Superman, who's supposed to be the hero of the story, and he pushes him back into the atmosphere so that he can stop his people. I don't quite understand. And Lex Luthor showed up kind of out of nowhere to say, "Mwahaha, I have a way that we can save the human race, but that means you're going to die." And he's not so much the villain as he is the bearer of good/bad news. Listen, take this injection up there and you'll explode and destroy the fleet, which then I think means that Superman was going to kill all of those sentient beings in the ships. I don't know. It just fell flat for me. I love the artwork. The story worked in some places. I like the beginning issue where he saves that building in a strange way in Tokyo or China or wherever it was. It was a neat kind of take on that type of an idea, because while in the Fleischer cartoons, Superman would just hold up a building, the structure probably wouldn't stand that sort of pressure in that one little spot, and it would crumble around him. So the way he did it in the book in issue 1 of Unchained, I really thought was cool. But unfortunately, it got rushed, I think. It got canceled because those guys couldn't keep up with it. They're too high profile or whatever. I'm only a man in a funny red sheet, looking for special things inside of me, inside of me, inside of me.